You keep making the same choices, causing the same mistakes and same bad experiences because you haven't figured out how to identify your fatal flaw. Once you know how you are sabotaging your own success, your happiness, whatever is going on in your life, you'll have the power to be able to make better decisions and live the life you want to live. Now, if you want to optimize your life without wasting any time, grab your free life map below where I'll teach you how to design, build, and live your dream life. Now, I was 45 when I discovered my fatal flaw. Yeah, only months ago. I had a clue that it was there, but I did a little bit of work in a personal development course. I came away from that and I found that, oh, damn, I'm doing something on a regular basis and pushing myself into an issue that was constantly causing the same problem in my life. I didn't realize that my boundaries with myself weren't strict enough. So what I would do would be overcommit and then over push myself. And because I pushed too hard, I would end up crashing on the other side. Very similar to being a people pleaser. I was trying to do so much for myself and push so much out of my life that it would take away from other areas of my life. I kept choosing things that were good for others and bad for me. Or I kept choosing things that were good for me in the short term, bad for me in the long term. So this was sometimes working jobs that were way too physically or mentally draining. Done a lot of that in the past. Doing way too much socializing or way too much fitness. I'm a doer. I find it very difficult to sit and be still. I want to be on the go all the time, but it leads to burnout, and it kept burning myself out. That's what caused me to get chronic fatigue and Lyme disease and fibromyalgia and all of these other things, because I kept pushing. And only now am I figuring out that's way too much. And I need to be able to self-regulate that. Otherwise, I'm constantly going to be self-sabotaging my life and causing more problems rather than making it better. I was too generous with my time, and I would give too much of my time and energy to other people for their needs instead of looking after me first. Always putting other people first above yourself is no good in the long run. So here's how you can prevent self-sabotage in your own life. Firstly, identify any self-sabotaging behavior. You may notice it from whatever you do. You may talk to some of your friends about it. You could also have a look at your star sign and the personality types that go along with that. For me, I'm a Pisces. One of the things that came up, and how I'm completely aware of this, is when I was putting my life map program together, and I had a look at this, and like one of the things for Pisces is boundaries. I'm like, yeah. And you know what? All my other Pisces friends, same issues. I'm like, wow, okay. I went away to this course and I looked at that. I'm like, I can't believe I didn't see this years ago. So that's a really easy way. Have a look at your star sign and see what your strengths and weaknesses are within that, whatever your personality types are for your star sign. Another really good way to look at it is looking into what your strengths and weaknesses are. Now, you can identify some of those yourself. You probably know some off the top of your head. You may need to go and ask friends and family about that, but you can also go online and do some strength and weaknesses assessments. I've done that in recent years and got a great value out of that, showing me where I am stronger in my life and I need to kind of work on things in my life. Allows me to look and see where I'm at, what's going on, and what I'm doing wrong, or what I'm doing to sabotage myself. See, a lot of the time we don't notice it from our own perspective, but people around us, they'll see, oh, you know, you're really generous with your time, you're really this, you're really this. But we find that we're so involved in our own life that we can't take a step back and look at it. So check out your star signs. Have a look at the personality types. Make sure you Google, if you're going to do it, Google star signs and personality types and see what comes from there. Do a strengths and weaknesses assessment, see what comes up in the weaknesses especially, and look at it that way. And then also make sure you ask your friends and family, because they will know you better than everyone else. Next, I want you to notice when you are considering whatever that action is or whatever that decision is. Now, I used to be a yes man. If someone asked me to do something, if someone asked me to help them with something, if there was a social event on, I was just like, yep, I will be there for sure. Now, I'm a maybe or I'm a no before I'm a yes. I need the time to think about it in order for me to make the best decision of what I need especially. Case in point, I've been invited to a party this coming Friday night. I would love to go, but I know that I've got a party on Saturday night, I've got something Sunday morning, and I have something Sunday afternoon, and I might even have something I have to do on Saturday morning as well. Now, if I go and do that other thing on Friday night, that might be just too much to push me over the edge and cause problems with every other event that I have throughout the weekend. It also might be too much and then push my energy available through the rest of the week. Now, that doesn't work for me. So if you feel like, let's say for instance, you keep choosing the wrong partner. You meet someone and they charm you into a conversation, they charm you into a date, and you're stopping and thinking, yeah, all right, should I, shouldn't I? They ask you out again and you're just not sure. Well, maybe you need to look at that very carefully. Maybe you need to stop and think, do they have the key elements that I'm looking for, or am I overlooking the red flags that are right in front of me? We all make these same mistakes over and over again. It just comes back to identifying it. So if you are considering something and you already know what your fatal flaw is, then that's probably a good place to look and really take the time to think about that decision so you make the right decision, or at least a better informed decision. Next, change your approach. So when you would usually make a decision or you would usually take action, there's generally something that you would do on a regular basis or an action that you would take on a regular basis, and you do it automatically. It's subconscious. Now you have to stop. I said notice when you're considering the thing, but now it's like, all right, do I want to do it this way? Do I want to do it this way? Is there another way that I can do this? Is this the best decision for me? Is this good for me and good for other people? Is this good for me and bad for other people? Those two things, they're ideal. The last thing you want is it bad for you and good for the other person? And is it bad for you and bad for the other person? You don't want either of those. So look after yourself first if you feel like this decision or this action might be something that is sabotaging your success or your happiness. Lastly, it's repeat, repeat, repeat. And I say repeat because this is something you have to be consciously thinking about all the time. For me, I constantly have these temptations, these offers of things to do, which might be great in the short term, but cause me pain in the long term. That's not ideal. That's not going to get me to where I want to go. That is going to sabotage my success, and I don't want that to happen. So really work hard identifying any of these self-sabotaging behaviors. Find out what your fatal flaw is. Make sure you notice when something comes up that is related to that and you have to make a decision or take an action. And think, is there a different approach that I can take here? Do I have to say no more? Do I have to be firmer with my boundaries? Do I have to be firmer with my decisions so I look up to myself? Do I have to open myself up to other possibilities or other decisions rather than doing what I would normally do? Because if you continue to do things to sabotage yourself, it's going to compromise your goals, your progress. It'll keep holding you back. Repeating the same mistake over and over. It comes up in relationships all the time. It comes up in your business. It comes up in your health. So make sure you listen. Listen carefully to what somebody is telling you. Think it over very carefully when you make the decision. Remember that good for me, good for others. Good for me, bad for others. They're the two best options. And remember, you're the most important person in this. Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Don't do that. You don't need to be insane. You aren't insane. Just think about it carefully and make a good decision. Now, if you want to get the most out of your new year, my free life map program is below. 28 days, I'm going to coach you through how to design, build, and live your ideal lifestyle. And at the end of 28 days, you're going to come away from that thinking, wow, okay, I'm a whole lot more focused. I know what I want. I know what I want to do. So click the link below. I'll see you on the inside.